Hello guys! Today we're doing a full guide on IVs within Palworld. Now as you can see on screen, I have an Eliza Bee with 110 base attack power. How you can see this in game is by hovering over the stats with your mouse or cursor, and you'll be able to differentiate between your base stats and your stats with the passives you have on your pal. Now, IVs only care about your health, attack, and defense. Your hunger, your sanity, and work speed do not factor into the equation at all for IVs. Going back to this attack stat, this Eliza Bee has 110 base attack power, and on this other Eliza Bee, it has 108 base attack power. So as you can see, there's a clear difference while both at the same level. And what this means can have consequences at higher levels. So this level 50 Eliza Bee I leveled up had 107 base attack power, and now it has 498 base attack power. If you can compare this to another Eliza Bee I have that had 110 base power, at level 50 it has 601. That is a 100 stat difference, which after applying the passive skills makes a huge difference. And recently there was a calculator made to explain this so you can understand it better. So the way HP, attack, and defense IVs work is that you have a bonus percent of stats you gain per level. And for HP, it's 50%, 0 to 50% extra stats you could gain for HP, 0 to 30% for attack and defense. So to think of it easily is, you could have, if you had 0 IVs on a pal, then you get no bonus stats, but if you had a full IV attack stat, it'd be like 1.3 times because 30%. And so this calculator that was made by the same person who data mined all the breeding combinations as well as the partner skills is able to differentiate what IVs you have. And so if you look right here, we can enter in the values that we saw earlier. So for example, let's go with the first Eliza Bee I had, level 1, and they had 132 attack power, and they had the passives Ferocious, which adds 20% to their attack. Oh, this is HP. Okay, so scratch that. 558 HP. And then 132 attack power. And then 58 defense. And I think despite them having other passives, those passives don't increase stats, so I don't really care about including that. And so now you can see the HP range from minimum to max. The reason why we have ranges is because the UI interface, like the user interface of the game, it doesn't show the true stats you have. For some reason, there's decimals, and it will always round the decimal down. So if you were to have a 109.9 Eliza Bee, it would round it down to 109. And so that makes calculations a little inaccurate. So that's why we have to use ranges. Now, as you can see, the difference in the range is pretty big. It's not very accurate, you can't tell. But that is because we're at level 1. As you raise the level of your pal, it becomes easier to calculate and understand. So this doesn't mean you have to get it all the way to level 50. It'd be easier to calculate, it'd be more accurate, but that's going to take a lot of time. So, what you could do instead is get it to level 10, and that'll give you a more accurate reading. So, for example, um, if I go for the level 50 107, we can put 50 right there, 3,391, then 846, and 574. Then we can add in Musclehead and Legend. Yeah. And now you can see the difference between is much smaller. And as you can see as well, it shows that 107 is one of the worst um, base attack stats you can get on Eliza B. Um, the IV comparison chart also is very important. This shows you the ranges in which your Eliza B can be. So the minimum attack you can have is 839. And it makes sense why this is the worst attack stat possible, because you only have like 846, whereas the highest would be 1040. Now, this shows as well the stats gained per level. So this Eliza B is only getting 13.39, but if it had perfect IVs, it would be getting 17.4. And now I'll be bringing out the last Eliza B I showed earlier, the one that was fully upgraded. So this one has 4,352 HP, and it had 1,816 attack. And this one had 73.8. Now, the problem that you might have not expected is that Eliza B has a passive which raises it up by 8%. The passive skill, as you can see, it's 93% plus. That should be 85 because of her passive skills, but because of her partner skill, it goes above. So, as we know now, this calculator is pretty new. It doesn't factor in partner skills and all that, and how it could raise. So an easy fix or workaround against this, especially if you have food, which raises up your attack skill and messes up your calculations, is just go with your base. That's easy enough as it is. So the base attack stat is 941, and the base for defense is 615. Yeah, I messed up the numbers. This one should be 941 here instead, and the HP is 4352. It shouldn't matter at all. We can just look at it because there's nothing that passives can do with HP. And then additional buffs also help. So this one has plus 10 in attack, and that is 30% increase in attack. And the stars it has is 4. So now we have the calculation. And as you can see, this one was a 110. It has a very high attack stat. IV range. And it shows right here that it's 954, which makes sense. It coincides with the data of why it's so high, as well as the HP stat is on the higher end of things at 4,300. The defense, it's actually, yeah, it's above average too, which is pretty good. Now, if you want to use IVs, that's fine, but it's also okay if you don't, because right now the game is in early access. There's no rush to go breeding, and to be honest, going breeding, that's like end game kind of stuff already. Like once you've already completed everything, you're going to start breeding. There's not much to do. Like maybe PvP will become a thing and then IVs will be important, but I don't know. Maybe they'll do something else instead. Though I could see how IVs might be important in raids and stuff in the future, but I'd wait on it, honestly, because there's new things that could be added that could make breeding much easier. For example, in Pokemon, they have the Destiny Knot and Everstone, which make breeding for IVs or different types of passives way easier. So I wouldn't rush towards this, is what I'm saying. That's the end of this video. Uh, please like and subscribe if you want to see more of my content. Also, I'll have relevant links to the post and the calculator in the description. The calculator has been going through a bunch of updates, fixing different things, making things better, improving them. So I'll be sure to put in notifications about it in the community tab if there is a better version, in which case you can use that. Or you can do something better, which is follow Blahabble on Reddit, and then you'll be able to see when he makes updates in comments or on posts, which will help with different things. And he just keeps making good content, so you should check it out. Bye bye.